A single diner glows in the darkness of a sleeping city. The windows, large, clear, and cold, offer no privacy. Four souls, so near in space, and yet so distant in spirit. Look closer. The man behind the counter lost in thought. A couple, together but silent. And that solitary figure at the corner, his face turned away. There is no escape from this quiet night. This is Nighthawks, Edward Hopper's portrait of loneliness in modern America. Why does Hopper's world feel so lonely? Maybe it begins with his America, a place of wide streets, empty buildings, and people lost in their own thoughts. In Automat, a woman sits alone, staring into her coffee. No one joins her. The window behind her is black, as if the world outside doesn't exist. In Gas, a man tends to an empty station, a road that leads to nowhere. And an early Sunday morning, a street stands silent, as if waiting for a life that never arrives. Hopper painted modern life, but stripped of its noise. He showed us what it feels like to be surrounded by people and still be completely alone. But Hopper's loneliness wasn't just about empty streets and silent rooms. It came from within, from the man himself. Edward Hopper was a quiet man, shy, reserved. Born in 1882 in Nyack, New York, Hopper grew up in a small town that felt as isolated as his paintings. He was drawn to art early on, but not to people. He studied at the New York School of Art, where his teachers urged him to embrace modern life. But Hopper always turned inward. His wife, Josephine Nivison, often described him as a man of few words. A man who found it easier to speak through empty rooms, silent streets, and faceless figures. Hopper once said, "The inner life of a human being is a vast and varied realm, and at its best, art is a reflection of that inner life." And so, his art became a mirror, not of the noisy city around him, but of the solitude he carried inside. Hopper went to Paris, as young artists did, but even in that city of lights, he felt invisible. He walked the streets, sketched the buildings, but remained apart, an observer, never a participant. Back in New York, he lived quietly. His studio was small, the days long. Years passed with little notice, but Hopper kept painting, kept searching for that perfect stillness. Josephine, Joe, his wife, his muse, his critic. Their marriage was a partnership of creation and tension. Together, they shaped his vision of solitude, even as they wrestled with their own. In those quiet rooms, among the smell of paint and turpentine, Hopper gave shape to the loneliness he knew so well. Hopper's windows aren't just architectural details. They are barriers, frames. They divide his figures from the world and from us. His light is warm, golden at times, but it offers no comfort. It highlights isolation, casting long shadows on bare floors. His buildings, brick, wood, glass, stand as monuments to the forgotten corners of America. Silent witnesses to dreams deferred, to conversations never spoken. Hopper's art shaped how we see solitude. Alfred Hitchcock borrowed Hopper's unease, the Psycho House, with its watching windows, its stillness heavy with tension. Wim Wenders captured Hopper's endless highways and isolated souls in Paris, Texas. His camera lingered on empty spaces, the way Hopper's brush once did. In photography and cinema, In the way we look at empty streets or quiet windows, Hopper's vision endures. Because solitude, he reminds us, isn't always about being alone. Sometimes it's about feeling unseen, unheard, even in a crowd. When you look at Hopper's work, do you see his loneliness, or do you see your own?